Welcome to this webinar where you joined to hear about how you can link tree planting to your university, and especially about the case study of Avans University in cooperation with Life Terra Foundation. In the next 45 minutes or so, you're going to hear about this case study. And before we go over to the presenters that we have lined up for you, I'm going to briefly explain to you how this works. My name is Luc Mulling. I'm the moderator of today. And at your fingertips, we have different interactivity options. So both for the live audience, but also for the people that are watching the recording, we'd like to interact with you. So how can you do that? First of all, on the right top, most importantly, you can write your questions at any time. So you see a tab called questions, and there you can write them. We will be taking care of the questions at the end. Now, um, also for the people that are watching the recording, you can also do that. So you can also write your questions there. Of course, we cannot answer them live. However, we will be coming back to them probably by email because we can come back to you then after the session. So do take advantage. What else do we have? We also have a chat. In the chat, you can briefly write maybe where you're from and maybe your interest in this project. So that will be great to hear already and interact a little bit with you. We also will be opening up a poll. So to take an eye on that, especially later towards the end of the session. And last but not least, just a little fun part to make it fun for everyone even more. We do have emoticons. At the bottom of the screen, you see an emoticon, so you can give your reaction. Exactly, I see already someone found it. Great. Just to give a little bit feedback to especially presenters to keep them engaged and yeah, having fun and knowing that there is the audience listening to them and being present. Now, without further ado, because you didn't join in to hear from me, of course, you did join in to listen to the three presenters as we have a student with us, Lisa Heijmans. You will kick it off in a second. After that, we will hear from Sarah Wilton, the director of Avans University of Applied Sciences. And after that, we will go over to Limor Noach, who is the director of Life Terra Foundation. They will introduce themselves briefly as well, but let's go ahead with Lisa and hear from her about her experience with this project. Good luck. Unmute yourself, please. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Lisa Heyman. I study at Avans University of Applied Sciences in Breda. And a while ago, I did have a dream. I wanted to create a forest, and I wanted to do that with students. But most of these tree plantings, they're kind of impersonal. And, you can plant a tree once and then completely forget about it. But so when I speak of this project, I speak on behalf of me and my student partner, Nick Dembo. So we decided we want to make it personal. How would we do that? How could we make something that reaches the students personally by planting it physically or giving it to them, but then also that it can stay with them when they will go further in life, because the tree in itself is a very, very beautiful symbology for growing after what you've experienced at your university. So how did we do that? I'm part of the Green Office. And for you guys that don't know, Green Offices are part of a nationwide organization in the Netherlands, where the Green Office are through and for students to help make their universities more sustainable. So that's in awareness campaigns, activities, and brainstorm sessions, for example. So the idea was to make a tiny forest, which is nice because it aids in biodiversity, cleans the air, and helps with climate adaptation. But like I said, we wanted to make it personal. How though? Well, Life Terra, they have this amazing thing to link your tree with your GPS, meaning that you know on your webpage where it will be. So in 30 years, you will still know. And that was awesome. The symbology, the tree that's going to be personalized, but how bring it to our students, how to bring it to our fellow students. Well, we were thinking the best way to do so is to tap into known money pockets. So what budgets are already known? And for what we knew is the graduation gift. Each student of Avans gets a graduation gift because it has been a special time for 4 or more years you've shared it together. And then they give you a gift. So what we thought, let's combine these two ideas, our dream and this budget, to create a graduation tree. And so we did. And I want to share some do's and don'ts about the process and the project as well. First of all, how did this come true? We shared our idea. That's the first do. Share it. Don't be selfish or don't doubt yourself that it's a bad idea. Even this idea, it's not new. But because so many people believed in it, it was shared to other people. Life Terra found us. We found more support through the Green Office, through Avans itself. And also, the more people that give their opinion to your project, the more it can grow, the more details it will get, and maybe even more sustainable in the long run. Come back to that later. And I just want to mention again, capitalize on existing budgets. That will, for us, that was the winning factor. And then if you want to try this at your university, please don't try this all by yourself. If you don't have a Green Office, that's too bad, but it doesn't mean that you cannot start this yourself. Try to find the right people and the right expertise. So people that are good with communication, try to attach them to this project. People that are good with innovative ideas and the process, try to get them along. Please don't try this yourself by yourself. It's awesome when it's in a team, trust me. And also, we got a lot of help from our project leader at the Green Office, and it did help that he knew who had those expertises. So if you don't have a Green Office, try to find that person within your university that knows many, many people. And like a little bit from experience, it was hard to cater to everybody's needs. So for us, this is a pilot project. We learned so many things. But when it becomes bigger, then it's better to maybe not make everything personalized for every study program. So let me wrap up here for a second. So we had a dream to have a personalized way to reach my fellow students in sustainability awareness creation, but also simultaneously carrying out climate action. And it came through. Together with Green Office, Nick Den Bol, Avans University, and many, many more, and Life Terra, we reached this goal. And so with Green Office as a platform and our university that believed in this idea, who embraced it, it makes me happy to say that Avans will adopt the graduation tree as its own. So I'd like to introduce you to Sarah Wilton.
Yes, thank you, Lisa. I'm going to interrupt briefly because we actually have a video to show, some video footage before we go over to Sarah. So I'm going to share with you and show you this little video to give you some more life to and videos to see what this means in real life, how it's been. Here we go.
Hier worden vandaag 4000 bomen geplant door Avans alumni. Die zijn net afgestudeerd en die kunnen dat moment van afstuderen markeren door een boom te planten. Zij gaan verder in hun leven, zij gaan verder zich ontwikkelen, ze gaan groeien en die boom groeit met hen mee. En dan denk je, ja, één zo'n boom, maar het zijn er 4000. En zo creëren we een Avansbos.
Wat we wel wilden is onze medestudenten een soort bewustwording bijbrengen. En daarnaast iets wat heel erg blijvend was. Maar ook geld ergens vandaan halen. Dus wij hebben slim nagedacht, waar is al geld? Dus bij dat afstudeercadeau. Wat gaan we daarvan doen? We maken daar een boom van. Al dus de afstudeerboom.
De boom die groeit dus verder met de student als hij of zij carrière gaat maken. En dat is zo leuk. Dus je kan over 10 jaar kan je terugkomen. Dus die boom ook veel verder gegroeid. Je bent zelf heel anders in je leven gaan staan. Ja, misschien dat je wel kinderen hebt. Kan je met je kinderen hier naartoe komen om die boom te komen bezoeken. Superleuk.
Vandaag is echt een hele bijzondere dag voor Life Terra, omdat er zoveel samenkomt. Het enthousiasme van de studenten om hier een boom te planten. En dat is natuurlijk ontstaan vanuit een samenwerking met Avans, met de gemeente, met de provincie. En waar we echt kunnen laten zien wat er gebeurt als je de handen ineens slaat.
Ja, als je ziet wat hier vandaag gebeurt, dan word ik alleen maar heel erg blij van. Omdat wij graag in Den Bosch willen dat er ook eigenaarschap is van de natuur. En wij kunnen wel grond ter beschikking stellen, zoals vandaag ook. Maar dan is het wel fijn dat daar ook mensen zich eigenaar voelen van zo'n bos. Als Den Bosch hebben we gezegd, wij willen 2 keer zoveel bomen aanplanten dan dat we de 4 jaar in de bestuursperiode daarvoor hebben gedaan.
Hey, studententijd is natuurlijk een enorme belangrijke tijd in je ontwikkeling. En de meeste van je normen en waarden die ontwikkel je op dat moment. En ik denk dat zo'n boomplanten daar enorm goed bij past.
We zijn met Life Terra de samenwerking aangegaan omdat Life Terra echt dé specialist en dé partij is om dit soort projecten mee op te pakken. Life Terra heeft een grote opdracht gekregen van de Europese Commissie om de ontbossing tegen te gaan. En heeft ons geadviseerd, ook over de biodiversiteit. Hoe pak je zoiets aan? Welke bomen waar? De partij om mee samen te werken.
Voor Life Terra is het heel belangrijk dat het niet alleen maar om bomenplanten gaat. Het gaat ook wel echt om bewustwording rondom klimaatverandering. We hebben een fantastisch onderwijsprogramma voor kinderen van 8 tot en met 14 jaar. Maar door de samenwerking met Avans bereiken we ook weer een nieuwe doelgroep. En dat zijn de studenten en de alumni.
De langetermijnvisie van een opleiding is dat je een leven lang leert. En dat wordt ook steeds duidelijker. En daarom is het goed dat wij als Avans ook aangehaakt blijven. En onze alumni ook uitnodigen om terug te komen. Ik heb het op papier gezien. Ik was enthousiast. Het hele college was enthousiast. We hebben het omarmd. En nu sta ik hier met mijn laarzen aan en zie ik dat de echte eerste kluiten, de bomen, geplant worden. Ja, het is geweldig.
Life Terra is co-financed by the European Commission through the Life program.
I think it's up to me now, although I see a bunch of commercials now. No, they're gone. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Sarah Wilton, part of the managing board of Avans University of Applied Sciences. And I'm really happy to share our experiences and our tips and tricks for you. And happy that you joined this webinar. And it was only 2 weeks ago, I think a little over 2 weeks, that the Glasgow conference, the United Nations Climate Change Conference, was closed. And it was closed by the chairman tearing up. He was in tears and he said, sorry, I apologize, deeply sorry, for the end result of that conference. And a pessimist would then also say, oh, well, that was not such a great success. But an optimist, and I think I'm one of those, could also say there was a lot of attention for this conference, for the climate change initiative, for sustainability, for corporate social responsibility. And I think that's also what we see in our own worlds. Not only our managing board has an agenda and an ambition on the field of corporate social responsibility and sustainability, our students have those ambitions. And actually, that was what happened. What Lisa told you was all true, of course, and she's also being modest. Because what she did together with Nick, I think she really inspired us. And not only inspired us, she also made us feel humble. And why do I use the word humble? Because I think actually it should not be the case that students they should have the initiative. But managing boards of companies, of corporate, private, public companies should take those initiatives themselves. So Lisa and Nick really gave us also a form of a wake-up call. We need to act and we need to do things. And if you need to act, you need to start small and you need to start where you can start. And both Lisa and Nick inspired us to do so. And indeed, what she said, it's awesome if you team up, and you need to team up. So Life Terra really was our partner, as you could also see in the movie clip. Life Terra advised us, and without them we wouldn't have succeeded, and we wouldn't have seen all those super enthusiastic and energetic alumni planting their trees. And that was also for us as managing board of Avans University, I think the icing on the cake, that you combine with this project, not only the compensation of CO2, but also the sustainable relationship with your alumni. And that's really important to us. So I see for this project really great payoff, spin-off in the field of a sustainable, more sustainable world, in the field of a connection, lifelong connection with your alumni, and also in the field of co-creation. I think something a lot of universities and other public companies are striving for, the co-creation with the outside world, with the private. And also, we just had a lot of fun. And the idea that in 10 years' time, there's 100,000 trees, that's also significant. It's not only a fun project, like, okay, we can show that we did something. It is significant. And that, I think, is very important to mention to you. So my wholehearted advice would be, take this to the heart, think about it, and discuss it with your managing board. Go indeed follow the money. I think that's a really good advice from Lisa, because where there's funds, there's also most of the times there's fun, and seek the cooperation with parties like Life Terra. And with regards to sustainability, of course, it's not only the Avans forest we have the topic of sustainability in our research. We have a couple of specific research fields. We have incorporated the Sustainable Development Goals in our curricula. And also in our daily operations, recycling rainwater, recycling our cups, the lighting, etc. Lighting. The main and utmost important lesson for us is do things that are visible, because it's all about the mindset. So combine the core corporate sustainable, corporate social responsible events and initiative with really things that you can see and the things that are visible. And I think this initiative is an excellent example of an initiative one can employ relatively easy. You need funds and you need some parties to co-create with, and it's visible and it's really inspiring for a lot of people. And Limor Noach, the director of Life Terra, will now show you a bit of her world and her I think ideas and convictions of this beautiful project. And I would like to give the word to Limor, and I'm very happy to take your questions when we continue. Thank you, and over to you, Limor.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you. First, I really would like to welcome everybody to this webinar, because I've just looked at the participants and I see that there are so many people from all around Europe and even further than that. So thank you all for joining us, and we really hope to inspire you. Actually, I hope that you are already inspired by these wonderful stories of Lisa and Sarah. I would like to tell you a little bit more about Life Terra, the Life Terra Foundation, so that you have a little bit of background information about who we are and what we do. So about Life Terra, well, we have this crazy and fantastic dream of planting 500 million trees by 2025. And the number of 500 million is a symbol for every citizen within the EU. And for us, I think it's very important to say that it's not just about planting a tree. It's really about restoring our connection with the earth and to enable people to take impactful climate action. we all know that we have to do something, but sometimes it feels like this really big problem that we have around climate change, and we really don't know, okay, where to start, what to do, how can I help? So we want to make that very tangible and very nearby for everybody, and we do that by tree planting. And we actually do much more than that, because we also have a fantastic education program that I will tell you about in a moment. And we have developed a wonderful technology to monitor the trees that you plant. So why trees? Well, planting trees is actually something that's so accessible for everybody. It's a very effective way to capture carbon. It's not very expensive. And as you know, well, it's something that everybody can do right now and close by to your home. So there are many reasons why we chose to focus on trees. Of course, they also have a very important role in restoring ecosystems. They have a very important role in restoring biodiversity. And they have a very positive impact on people, both physically and mentally. But the most important thing, I think, is that it's so accessible for everybody to plant trees. And of course, I have to add to that it's also a lot of fun to plant trees. It actually enables you to do so many things. Just from your organization's point of view, it is, I think, very important to strengthen your brands by working together with organizations like Life Terra. Sometimes it's something that you can do on a very local level. Of course, we are depending on availability of land and access to land where we can plant trees. But most of the times we're able to find good locations to plant trees in a relatively local area to the institutions. So that makes it very accessible to plant trees in your own surroundings, in your own community. And as we have noted before, we developed a technology where you can actually monitor and track your trees. Of course, it helps you to reduce your carbon footprint and create a very positive impact in the community. So it also helps you to contribute to the Sustainable Development Goals, as you can see on this slide, the goals that we support. And I think the most important thing is that you're actually creating a legacy that matters. It's something that's here to stay. So what makes us unique? We have the knowledge to plant the right tree in the right place. We work together in a consortium of partners, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a moment. And we have all this knowledge and expertise of these partners to help us on these topics. So it's very important to decide for each piece of land what trees should be planted there in order to really create a biodiverse and sustainable new nature. So we have a lot of expertise on that. We also developed, as I said before, the technology to monitor each tree planted. As you can see here on the right-hand side. So if you go with us into the field and you start planting your trees, then you're actually able to tag them with your own mobile phone. And you can see them, you can find them back in your dashboard, and you can see the exact geolocation. Then we also developed a fantastic educational pack to educate future generations on sustainability and climate change. It's actually, we offer that for free for schools. It's for children in the age of 8 to 14. And of course, it helps to build communities, because planting trees really impacts communities in a very broad sense. So I already told you that we work together with many partners, and they all have their own expertise, which makes us very strong as a whole. So we have knowledge and network in implementation, in the field of technology, education, and in communication. So for instance, we have communication partners in different countries within the EU that really help us to raise awareness on this topic. But we also have very smart partners that know exactly how to monitor each tree that we have planted. So all this expertise and knowledge comes together in this project, and that makes it a unique project in its size and in its the impact that we can actually have. And we are very proud that we got the support of the European Commission through the LIFE program, and they are supporting us to enroll this project and bring it to a success. So what do we want from you? Well, we actually want you to also get involved and help us reach that goal of 500 million trees. How does it work? Well, we take care of securing a planting site, and we try to make that as close to your university as possible. Of course, we provide the trees and the logistics of getting the trees on the site, the tools that are necessary to plant the trees. We are there to explain how to properly plant a tree, and we are there to guide the whole planting event. And your students or your alumni or staff will really get their hands dirty in a fun way. They will spend time outside with their colleagues while making a meaningful contribution to ecosystem restoration. And your university will gain access to a personalized dashboards where you can track the trees planted. And I want to show you an example of that in a moment. Of course, there are many different ideas on greening your university. We really like the idea of Avans, where they give the tree to all the graduates. You could, of course, also use it as a welcome gift to new students. It enables you to organize planting events and let students organize their own planting events and also become Terra leaders. So for us, Terra leaders are the people that are motivated to also organize their own planting events in their community. You can compensate your students' carbon footprints by planting trees with Life Terra. And of course, you can give your students the opportunity to reconnect with nature. And we are open to any other ideas that you have to green your university. And we're actually very curious to hear about your ideas on this. So this is the dashboard that I was talking about earlier. So here you can see the Avans University dashboards, and you see the location of the trees where they have been planted, 4,000 trees. And on the right-hand side, you see all the individual trees that were tagged. Apart from the Avans dashboard that you see right here, every student has a login to their own platform, and they can track their own tree and they can see exactly where it has been planted. So that's really something unique that we got to offer. So we would like to ask you to join us with your ideas to green your university or any other ideas that you might have. And well, we really hope to team up in order to reach our goal and plant 500 million trees throughout Europe. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Limor, and thank you all of you, Sarah and Lisa as well, of course, for your great explanations already. Now is the moment we go to the questions. So this is the chance for the audience that have joined in, as we already heard from various countries. So great to see everybody joining in. And let's go ahead. We have some questions already. Leah is asking, is there enough space in the Netherlands to continue this initiative for decades to come? And also for every educational institution to adopt this project? What is your long-term vision of this project?
Well, that is a very interesting and relevant question. So thank you for that. Well, of course, the Netherlands does not have the same possibilities that other countries around us have in the EU. For now, yes, we do have enough. We work together with a lot of organizations within the Netherlands that give us access to land. And also in the Netherlands, you see that there are a lot of ambitions to green the country. So right now, we do have enough access to offer. But I agree that in the long term, this really might be a challenge. So we know for now that we have a lot of connections, for instance, in Portugal, in Spain, in Greece, where we still see, also in the Czech Republic, where we still see that there's a lot of space for reforestation. And on the short term, we're fine also in the Netherlands. And on the long term, I agree that this could be a challenge.
Okay, great. Thank you for your question. I hope that answered it to your satisfaction. Otherwise, let us know, Leah. Marie has a question. In which countries do you have this initiative?
That's also a good question. So we're active throughout the whole of the EU. We do have several focus countries where we have well, we are also really active already ourselves. So right now we are active in the Netherlands, in Belgium, France, Spain, Portugal, Greece, Italy, and we are actually also active in Germany, in the Czech Republic. So we are expanding. So please, if you have any concrete questions, if we have connections in your country as well and possibilities to plans, please send us an email. And we do work with partners throughout the whole of Europe. So we always find a way to make it work.
Great, thank you. Good to hear. Reggie, if I say that right, has a question. What do you believe was the deciding factor for you as a board of directors to really embrace the idea? And what would be your main advice to people at other institutions who would like to convince their board of directors to also embrace and support such an initiative? So this is directed at Avans University, I assume.
Yes, I'll take that question. I think what Lisa mentioned was indeed part of the deciding factor. There is not one deciding factor when you make such a decision. We all know that managing boards get funding requests on a weekly basis. And as Lisa illustrated, this was a request that already fitted into existing money pockets, as she mentioned it. And that was very smart. But not only that, it was also an initiative, as I tried to explain, that really shook us up. We thought, wow, this is fantastic. This is tangible, it's sustainable. We can mark a very important moment, a milestone, so to speak, in people's lives, in the lives of our students, the graduation. And the metaphor even of growing. When you graduate, it's a milestone, and it's also a moment where you develop further, where you grow further, and a tree also does that. So, and that was the beauty of this concept. So I think it really, not only there was funding, but you never know. But I think we would have also embraced it without that existing funding. However, I truly admire Lisa's analytical skills. It helps tremendously to get a seat at the table when you propose something with a solution included. And that's what Lisa and Nick did. And obviously their energy and their enthusiasm was fantastic. And also the tangibility. I think that makes it really, it's so tangible. It's such a great idea. I'm trying not to be overly enthusiastic, because you might think it's all scripted, but it isn't. It's just a fantastic idea because of those elements, the tangibility. It's a real significant CO2 compensation project, and it's something where you can align a story, and for us that's the alumni story, with growth. So that, Reggie, I hope answers your question. If not, then let us know.
Now, if I may, I would
sure.
like to add to that what I found for me, what was really moving me that day, is that a lot of alumni came back that day to plant trees with us, and a lot of students found each other, and they had not met each other before, and they worked together on planting trees in the field, and they had so much fun. They got connected with each other, and the value of that is just, for me, priceless. So it gives you so much more than just planting trees and compensating your carbon footprint. It's really also about connecting with each other, connecting with nature, working together outdoors. And that's something that's very valuable these days.
And for me, to add something maybe towards the green offices as well, sometimes we might think in our green bubble, oh, everybody wants to do this idea, but we have to be reminded that the ideas can be so great, but sometimes if they are going to be a lot of work for other people, they might not succeed. So what we did, we took upon us a lot of work to make it easier for other people to adopt the idea, to make sure like, oh yeah, this is actually a great decision. It has so many benefits over the other gifts that are already great. But why not choose this one? So we made it so appealing. I think that what Sarah said, all these benefits and positive things, but also we made it easy. And I think for climate action, making things easy for other people, you will get so many more people on board.
Great, thank you, Lisa, for that addition. I think that was, well, very good and inspiring words from every one of you. And great question, thank you. Next question is from Shen, and Shen is asking, is this initiative also open to the public?
Well, the Life Terra initiative, yes, it is also open to the public. We actually, if you're interested, please contact us to see how we can work together and see what we can do. So we do organize also citizen plantings in different places throughout Europe. And of course, if you're interested, you can activate a local school or your local community and see what's possible. So please contact us, and we would love to work together with you.
Great. Thank you very much, Limor. Later, actually, I will share a link where you can sign up also on the newsletter from Life Terra. So if you want to, be informed about this, well, not only this project, but what Life Terra is doing and find out more, that will probably be a good start to do so. Leah has another question. What kind of trees does Life Terra typically use? Is there attention to native trees and diversity?
Yes, so for us it's very important to always plant different species of trees. So we try to at least plant 8 different species of trees to really stimulate biodiversity. And of course, we do use the expertise that we have from our partners to make a planting plan up front, really see, okay, where are we going to plant? What trees are needed here to create that biodiversity? So for us, it's one of the most important things. So that's why we always say plant the right tree in the right place.
Perfect. Thank you, Limor. Next question from Reggie to Limor, directed. You now have an educational program for kids age 8 to 14. Do you also consider to develop something similar for high school students, as well as for students in higher education, adding that it might be an opportunity to create something like a continuous learning line in that way?
Well, that's an interesting idea, Reggie. Thank you for coming up with that idea. So right now we're rolling out the educational program for kids aged 8 to 14. But we might also develop something in the future for high school students. It's not on our plan for the short term, but I agree with you that it's really interesting to create a learning line. We do try to involve high school students where possible in coming up with ideas, for instance, for crowdfunding. We just had a really nice student, a 13-year-old boy, who decided to do crowdfunding at his school with his friends and his family to gift as many trees as possible. So he's coming out to plant with his family and friends and his school friends. So that's really inspiring. And that also gives us the opportunity to bring that story to the world and inspire other people. But in terms of an educational program, we don't have that yet planned for the short term.
Okay. Thank you very much, Limor. Silke is asking how many trees need to be planted to compensate the energy that is used for the dashboard?
Oh, that's a good question. I cannot give you an answer right now. So we will have to calculate that. But it's interesting, of course, to know that. Sorry, I cannot answer that right away. If you're interested, send us an email and we'll calculate it and let you know. Okay. You know, we take an average. Maybe that's interesting to tell. We do calculate always an average. So we always say we calculate it in a way that we say for every 1,000 trees over 40 years, they will capture about 200 tons of CO2. And we know that that's it is a rough way of counting through all the trees that we plant. I mean, of course, it differs. Northern Europe differs from Southern Europe. The different tree species, they all capture different amounts of CO2. So it is really an average, and it is an estimation. But that's actually the estimation that we use to calculate.